All right. Good morning, Mad Hatter Nation. It's Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, which means, lads, we made it. It is officially week one, regular season of the 2025 NFL year. Oh, man, it felt like it was going to be a long time till this got here, but we are finally here, and there is NFL news to cover. There's Detroit Lions news to cover before obviously a big kickoff this week. And you guys know that the Lions are kind of in a little bit of headline situations over with our week one opponent, Green Bay. And they made a air quote blockbuster trade a few days back after I was saying it wasn't going to happen. So again, just more egg, just egg all over my face. But we will discuss about that in a second here. The first headline story, obviously Ravens, the thumbnail guy himself, Lamar, perennial in discussions for MVP talks. Jackson, Ravens motivated to wipe away bad taste from playoff loss to Bills in 2025 season opener. This comes to us from NFL.com because we gotta stroke the football bag, the bag that holds the footballs of the national news clankers, the algorithms that control everything. Before then talking about, well, as it was discussed, Micah Parsons. But here's the thing with old Mikey P. He has a left facet joint sprain. May be able to play Sunday versus Lions with an epidural. That's what they give women who are having, like, childbirth. That's what they do so you don't feel that shit below the old lower half. This guy's going to be out there playing with the epidural. He's going to be out there rubbing around with rubber band legs, dude. That would be stupid. So, I agree. Last night, Hat and Boobs and I were talking about this. She actually brought this story to my attention, and she's like, at a certain point, a team has to protect their assets. And I was like, yeah, exactly. One, especially that you gave up 2 first-round draft picks for, and a shitload of cash. Now, does Micah Parsons play? That is the poll question that I have up for you guys down in the chat. Is Parsons a go Sunday versus Detroit? 17% of you are saying yes. 33% of you are saying no. And 50% of the 6 votes, 57% of the 7 votes are saying AOC's tatas. And I think that is the correct answer in this situation. Personally, I don't think it would be wise. I also think it'd be awesome if you could compound the Micah Parsons effect so it's going to blow up Dallas, right? Not only is Dallas now screwed, right, because Jerry Jones got in his own way, but the Packers now set themselves back 2 years of first-round draft picks. So hopefully Matthew Golden, the first wide receiver taken in the first round by the Packers in what felt like, 20-some years, if he doesn't work out, you guys are going to be a couple of years without a draft pick in the first round. And not for nothing, I know everybody's like, oh, Micah Parsons is this year, this era's Reggie White. The disrespect to Aiden Hutchinson in that statement is astonishing, for one. Okay, this is the era of elite pass rushers. Okay, we are in the golden age of pass rushers, and I don't think Micah Parsons does any one thing better than, say, an Aiden Hutchinson or a Myles Garrett or even a Trey Hendrickson. Okay, yes, Myles Garrett is a talented player when he's on the field, but he's coming in. Not only did you guys trade away 2 first-round draft picks and Kenny Clark, but now you're getting a facet joint sprained. May have to try and play with an epidural after 1 week in camp, Micah Parsons. So this could turn out to be something where it's like, you know what? Honestly, as a Packer hater, F the Packers, right? I'm kind of hoping that this just blows up in their face and he ends up just busting, just blowing up right in the Packers' face. I think that'd be absolutely awesome. So we will discuss that before going on. We got a lot of news to talk about, guys. I got a lot of headlines pulled up here. So obviously the rosters are set, right? Bow, bow, bow. We have no project quarterback, though. Who do we have behind on the practice squad, say? Anybody. We've got, obviously, JG16 for MVP. I will show you guys Friday before we get into any type of predictions for the upcoming week, I will show, maybe Wednesday, so that it's before any kickoffs actually happen. I'll show you guys that I did make my season-long predictions for awards over on DraftKings just this last weekend, so I will reveal that to you. But the Lions are not looking for another developmental quarterback right now. They want a veteran. Here's 3 guys who are ready to play. These are 3 vets who fit nicely with the Detroit Lions in case we're looking for a little bit of an upgrade. We'll briefly skim that, as well as the Lions host former Titans cornerback for a visit. Journeyman veteran cornerback visits Lions on Monday. This came out a couple hours ago from Christian Boer over at Sports Lions on SI. Then we will go ahead and make a quick stop over at prideofdetroit.com. Jeremy Reisman discussion. What is Green Bay's biggest weakness, and how can the Lions find that hole and stick our fingers in it and make it holier and bigger and exploit Green Bay's biggest weakness? Basically, their biggest weakness is being Green Bay. And then finally, it was announced yesterday, coming to us from Yahoo Sports, the Lions named the 6 captains for the 2025 season. I'm sure you guys can guess who those 6 players are, but I do want to point out real quick, this was just down at the bottom side of the article. Bill Belichick's humiliating. Oh, Billy Blue Chew! Do you think he ended up banging that 27-year-old slutaroo later that night, later Monday night? Bill Belichick's humiliating college football debut brings only schadenfreude or sadness. I just think that's hilarious. They got their proverbial shit pushed in. I think it was like 41-14 or some absolutely astonishing number like that. But that's neither here nor there. That is just something I wanted to point out. Guys, we already talked about the poll. You guys are killing it in the poll. We got 7 votes. Is Parsons a go Sunday versus your Detroit Lions? Yes, no, or AOC's Tatas? And AOC's Tatas are rolling away. They're bouncing away with it. 57% of the vote. Morning, you Mad Hatters. How's everybody doing? Jeanette, Brent, Jeff, Sam, Mr. Detroit City. You forgot to give up a Pro Bowler. They did give up a Pro Bowler. That's right, Jeff. They did. They gave up Kenny Clark. And I don't know what was left in the tank on Kenny Clark as far as productivity for the Dallas Cowboys or how well he really fits that system. But Dallas is just a absolute Dallas is just a shitstorm. It's just a mess, top to bottom. I think Jerry might be losing his mind, whatever mind was still there. Hutch is better than Parsons and probably going to get about $50 million. Brent, that's what I'm saying, dude. All this talk about Micah Parsons is just incredibly insulting to those of us who know the truth about the Michigan Mayhem man. What up, Chase? How you doing, brother? You Mad Hatters ready to go? Beard Bets, a weekly segment. That's not a bad idea, Mr. Detroit City. That's not a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, so now that we've done all the things, can you do me one last favor? Ring all my buttons and press all my bells. Last week, y'all, you shared my content around 275 times. That's nuts. That's wild. That's absolutely insane. So big round of applause to each and every one of you out here developing your quads, doing the heavy lifting, and then shouldering the load with your Atlas-like shoulders. I really appreciate you guys sharing this all around. There is a way you can circumvent this. If you don't want to share it with everybody, you can go ahead and stick it in the eye of the clanker overlords and just go ahead and copy this link down on your clipboard. Go ahead and do it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do as many times as you actually feel like you want to. Every single time you do it, it apparently counts as a share. So let's go beating the clanker overlords. Then if you're not already, would you do me a rock solid favor? Subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified every time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at youtube.com. Appreciate everybody last week suffering with us through the tech issues yesterday. We wanted to give it a go, but there were circumstances outside of my control. I can't really dictate the flow of the internet as much as I want to. Certain things, certain circumstances. So, guys, now that that's all out of the way, let's get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Shout out, Mr. Detroit City. He says, I share the Hat and Beard Show with random numbers. Some dude in South Dakota opens up to the Hat and Beard Show. Let's go. And you know what? If you ever are that guy and you click on this link and you happen to join the show live, welcome. Hey, hope you enjoy what we do here. So over at NFL.com, Ravens motivated to wipe away bad taste from last year's game, the Baltimore Ravens. The 2025 campaign starts where the 2024 season ended bitterly, and that is in Buffalo. Ravens players aren't brushing off the significance of facing the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night to open the season. That team sent us home out of the playoffs, so I don't think it's just going into a normal game per se, said Ronnie Stanley. The Bills beat the Ravens 27-25 in the 2024 AFC divisional round, despite being outgained 416 to 273 yards. Buffalo became the first team to win a playoff game while gaining less than 300 total yards and allowing 400 or more since the 2015 Carolina Panthers divisional round versus Seattle. The self-inflicted wounds burned Baltimore in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson had 2 giveaways. The defense was a sieve on the ground, allowing 147 yards. The game ended with Mark Andrews' drop on a potential game-tying 2-point try, and that was a very heartbreaking drop. You know, not for nothing, but drops like that are now I'm just saying, I'm not saying that Mark Andrews is this guy, but I'm saying that this is that type of a drop. That's like the Vontaze Burfict hit on Antonio Brown. That drop, that will wreck your brain, dude. That could dissolve Mark Mandrews. I call him Mark Mandrews. Mark Mandrews and all of the everything he's ever built could just be dissolved all from that. He come out this year and just have a mental breakdown, not like a mental breakdown, but mentally collapse and not be able to put it together. That a drop like that could screw a guy's career, which would suck. Hopefully that's not the situation. You know what I'm saying? It's great motivation. That's the last game we played, to go back there and play the team that we lost to, that we believe we should have won. Self-inflicted mistakes. Everybody's pumped up. You want to go out there and get the bad taste out of your mouth. That was coming from Nnamdi Matabuke. All right. Sunday night showdown could be a preview of January rematch as both clubs attempt to go over the postseason hump. The Bills, 84, and Ravens, 81, each have 80-plus wins over the last 7 seasons, including playoffs. Joining the 1999 to 2005 Colts with 80 is the only team in NFL history with 80-plus wins in a 7-season span without reaching the Super Bowl. So that's pretty crazy. You know what I'm saying? History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. What do you guys think about Sunday night's big AFC? For lack of better terms, it is a clash of AFC titles or Titans. You know what I'm saying? 2 big heavyweights just duking it out. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys, Isaiah Likely most likely took Andrew's spot, says Mr. Detroit City, and that was unfortunately likely going to happen. It was just a matter of time. Isaiah Likely has shown over the past couple of years that he is the heir apparent to whenever Mark Andrews decides to hang it up or takes that step back. He's got the young kid nipping at his heels. I do think Isaiah Likely will, if not already, finally usurp Mark Andrews in his starting role. I think we are going to start to see, and I don't think that Mark Andrews will end up being that dropped catch, the downfall of his career. I think it just coincides with the fizzling out of his talent, the reaching the proverbial mid-30s wall, starting to take a step back in the veteran career. Now, I'm sure Mark Andrews can go ahead and when his contract is up in Baltimore, or when Baltimore decides to move on from Mark Andrews, I am more than confident that Mark Andrews could probably secure a bag with another team someplace else in a 1 or 2 year contract, kind of securing financial stability for the duration of his career before ultimately retiring. Lamar Jackson is Josh Allen's bitch. That is correct, Mr. Detroit City. Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, does kind of have this problem of collapsing in the postseason. I don't know if it's a Baltimore thing or if it's a Lamar thing, but it just seems to kind of get him with the postseason. He can be crushing an MVP caliber year, and then he hits the postseason and just 2 giveaways, and the defense just collapses, and you run into a Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do think it eventually does need to be Josh Allen's time. to get to the big show. This could be that year. There are a lot of question marks around the defense of Cincinnati, right? So the AFC North, I think, is going to kind of beat itself into a bloody little pulp over there and just kind of take care of its own problems. There won't be much of an issue for the rest of the AFC. The AFC South, not such a great division. Houston probably going to be the winners out there. Maybe Jacksonville could be kind of a sneaky move, but Houston should be able to bounce back from kind of an injury-plagued and sophomore slump season for C.J. Stroud. But really, so your big contenders are the AFC East, the big heavy in the AFC East, and that is Buffalo, and then the last remaining team in the North, who's kind of a little bit above everybody else, and that would be the Baltimore Ravens. So these two teams kind of the cream of the crop, you know what I mean? But I do think the AFC is kind of down. I don't know if Kansas City is going to be able to do yet another Super Bowl run. 4 straight Super Bowl runs is incredibly taxing on the physicality of the team, the mental fortitude, and the physical longevity of players. They do have a lot of returning players, and unfortunately, unfortunately for the Kansas City Chiefs, fortunately for the NFL, and unfortunately for those of us who can't stand to watch Patrick Mahomes highlights nonstop, he is going to be kind of carrying the load for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Isaiah Pacheco never really looked like himself after coming back from the broken leg, and who's going to be the guy? Are they just going to Tyreek Hill, Xavier Worthy all season long? So my point with saying all of this is if there were a year to really strike in the AFC, this would be Buffalo's year to really pull the ripcord and just gun it, just run it and gun it. This, I think, is the best circumstances outside of the organization as far as the talent level of the rest of the AFC, be it, peaking and collapsing or still underdeveloped. I think this could be the year that Buffalo can really maximize what they have done over the past few years and finally get that big push into the Super Bowl. I've gone on record and I continue to say that I do see a Detroit Lions, Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. And I'll go a step farther and say that unfortunately, as much as I just hyped up the Buffalo Bills, they will be shut out by the Detroit Lions 59-0 in this year's Super Bowl. What do you guys think about all that? Was that a little too ridiculous? Yeah, there you go, Mr. Detroit City. Trent Dilfer has 1 Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has 0. You know what I'm saying? Lions versus Bills Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Dude, Brent, I was thinking about this morning. I was taking my morning constitution. I was like, you know how divided the American, football fandom would be with a Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions Super Bowl if the script writers really wanted to strike a good story and really tap into the old heart and soul of the NFL. Scripting themselves a Detroit Lions Buffalo Bills Super Bowl would just woo-wee, boys. That would be a hot ticket. That would be a hot ticket. I'd be there for all that. Guys, let's go over and talk about Micah Parsons, the NFL's big news guy, the big boy with all the news around him. That is Micah Parsons was traded out of the dirty Dallas and headed to the frozen tundra of the North. Micah Parsons, though, has a facet joint sprain. He may be able to play Sunday if he wants rubber legs and have an epidural. Micah Parsons' back injury continues to linger following his trade to Green Bay. Parsons is dealing with a L5 facet joint sprain. That would be your, I think the L means lumbar, so your lower back. I'm not going to lie, guys. The past month, I've been dealing with some very severe lower back issues that we finally were able to just get wrapped up this weekend. Finally, we were able to get things back into position. And then going to have to start going once, if not twice a month to the chiropractor to just have my hips have this. I've got really fluid dancer style hips. I like to shake my hips and wiggle my ass. I got very fluid. I'm very hippie. If you ask Hat and Boobs whenever we dance, I really get my hips into it. I like to shake my ass. You know what I'm saying? Boy, sometimes it could pop that fucker right out of woohoo, and it is a painful. Been having problems with it my whole life, but the lower back, the L5, L4, that's a pretty bad issue for Micah Parsons. The Packers star pass rusher might be able to play week 1 against the Detroit Lions by taking an epidural. That's fucking nuts. Parsons passed physical to complete last week's blockbuster trade from Dallas to Green Bay and participated in practice on Monday, although we got it off. Not for you. Not for you millionaires. That's right. Us lower-class individuals. We got to have the day off, but the millionaires and the billionaires, they had to work. Ha-ha! Justice! Both the Cowboys and noted orthopedic spine surgeon Dr. Robert Watkins confirmed the diagnosis. Parsons will continue to physical therapy in Green Bay. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he sat out all year? Wouldn't it be awesome if and this isn't I don't wish ill upon the individual, a human being. That's cruel, right? But wouldn't it be just crazy if this is like he ends up just like walking away from the game after all this? He's just like, nah, I'm good. During his hold-in in Dallas, Parsons cited a back issue that kept him out of practice. The issue is previously believed by most to be overstated, possibly as a negotiation tactic. It turns out it wasn't completely fabricated. After signing a $47 million per year deal with the Packers, Parsons is likely to do everything he can to get on the field against a division rival. Taking a pregame injection could allow him to play through any discomfort. Oh, boy, way to just undersell that. He's just going to take an injection, it's just a it's just a jab. It's just a shot. It's just for the pain. Motherfucker, it's an epidural, yo. How's he going to run? How's he going to explode off the line? How's he going to know what to do? An epidural. Just take a pregame injection that'll allow him to play through any discomfort. Oh, my God. Good Lord. Hat and beard twerks. See, broski, how you doing, brother? How you doing this morning, bud? I wouldn't call it twerking. I just like to shake my ass. So I have this obnoxious thing of I like to sing and dance when I work. It's really bizarre. You'd think I was a theater kid at some point, but I just gotta dance. I like to dance. You know what I'm saying? I like to boogie. I like to get down. I like to get up. I get down. 911 is a joke in your town. You know what I'm saying? But Micah's boy toy busted that back after signing that bag. Ouch! Brutal, Mr. Detroit City. Heard that L5, L4 is only important if you need total use of your legs. Brent, that's what I'm saying, dude. Now, I am not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination, let alone a doctor who deals with the babies stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty confident that an epidural is what they give women when they're giving birth, so they don't feel anything. And I've heard stories from people who work in that industry that legit, the doctors can just take the mom's legs and just flop them all around, and they can't feel nothing. They're just flopping their legs all around, and they can't you can't feel nothing. You can't do how's he gonna do anything? You know what I'm saying? They did, dude. Broski, you're right. They already blew out Micah's back. Exactly, bro. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Clarice Jackson, yes, they do. You can't feel your legs for hours. God damn, exactly. What's up, Clarice? How you doing? Good morning. Welcome to the show. I feel like you'd kind of understand the epidural more than someone like me, but that just sounds nuts. So, yeah, you can't feel your legs for hours. How's this guy supposed to play football if he can't feel his legs? That's why I say he's going to have rubber. He's going to look like Woody from Toy Story, dude. He's going to look like Woody from Toy Story out there, running around all goofy-legged, all bow-legged and shit. If he can even run, are you serious? Now, why $47 million a year? Now, okay. From a Lions perspective, I don't want him to play because obviously it's Micah Parsons, and it gives us a little bit of an easier road to victory, though I'm pretty sure Penny Sewell can handle Micah Parsons as he's done historically. I'd like to beat the Packers. It gives us a game up on the division. It puts the Packers a game behind in the division. All that being said, if you're a Packers fan, of course you want Micah Parsons to play for that very same reasons. You don't want to fall a game behind in the division. You want to stay swinging and punching at the Kings in the North the last 2 years, who by all accounts should be repeating as NFC North Division champs on their way to a Super Bowl, baby. Let's go. But I just look at it's the same thing. I appreciate guys. I am all about self-autonomy, right? The my body, my choice, all that jazz. Not to sound like a liberal or whatever, but like you have autonomy over yourself. That's why, like, I'm not necessarily like poo-pooing when Tua Tagovailoa still wanted to play without the Halo helmet. But at a certain point, there does have to be a realization by the organization that even though you are a player with autonomy, you are owned, you are part of, you are a piece of, you're essentially a piece of machinery in the plant that is whatever franchise it is, and you can't just keep destroying it. So at a certain point, the organization has to step in and say, whoa. Are you fucking nuts? We're paying you $47 million a year. You can miss one goddamn game. You know what I'm saying? Tua's a gang member. Tua's not bad, though. I don't mind Tua. But, yeah, you're right, Mr. Detroit City, when he throws up them fencing signs, you know what I'm saying? When he's all crippled out, you know what I'm saying? He will ride piggyback on another player. Yeah, Jeanette, that's about the only way that he's going to be able to get around. You know what I'm saying? Is he's going to literally have to be carried around by another player. You know what I'm saying? Now, if Xavier McKinney wants to drag him around and slow him down, that's totally fine. Then it's a 9 versus 11 type situation. But Micah Parsons being on the field would just be kind of silly. But it is a reason to drum up information. Can y'all see me? What up, Sam? How you doing, brother? Did I miss some chats, dude? Oh, you got Buffalo's D in fantasy. Oh, shit. You'll be fine, dude. Buffalo's D is going to smoke him, dude. Clarice, with jello legs, I feel like he'll be more prone to injury. That's what I'm saying, Clarice. If you have no control over your woody legs there, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be bouncing and bobbling, and you're going to bust your ankle. Oh, it could be a cascading event. Hamburger Harvey, I love that picture, brother. How you doing? The NFL should not be letting Tua keep playing. I would be inclined to agree with you. I thought, now, wasn't there a point in the NFL when a player could only get so many concussions recorded and then they medically had to retire? Isn't that kind of what happened to Tony Scheffler, right? Didn't that kind of happen? So does the Players Association have some type of clause in the CBA? Be safe for Parsons to sit out this one, I think. Brent, I think I'll go a step farther with you, dude. If the Packers were smart and they wanted to protect Micah Parsons, they would make him retire from the NFL. That's what I think they should do. Micah Parsons should just sit out the rest of his career and let his back get healthy. That's what I'm on point with. But yeah, Sam, we can see you, brother. Sorry, dude, if I've been missing the chats. They've been kind of popping and going, dude. I had it over on top chats for a little bit. Now it's back on live chat. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'm what you would call a Luddite. I don't understand this newfangled technology. This high tech is shit. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's talk Detroit Lions. So real quick, there are just some names. So you guys know. Oh, look at who's topping the list. There are some names. There are some guys. There are some spots. AOC's Hey, Derek, what up, brother? AOC's Tatas, my dude. Oh, we love our Manhattan mid-maiden, our girl, our big, boozy, juicy booty Latina. Let's go. If Parsons plays, run straight. Dude. Oh, okay, Sam. All right. Okay. Brother, you bring that up. Now, we have to expand on Sam Armstrong. Shout out Sam Armstrong. With you said Taras. AOC's Taras, Tatas. Derek, I got you, brother. I read it as Tatas, dude. I can't read for shit. But Sam, so this thought exercise. Okay. So Green Bay is like, all right, we're going to go ahead and give Micah Parsons an epidural. Okay. You ladies in the chat that have given birth know what an epidural is. You dudes in the chat who have seen your old ladies that have given birth with an epidural, you know what an epidural is. So the reality of old Woody Legs fucking Parsons going out there with his rubber bouncy legs, going out there with a L4, L5 situation, which is going to take a tremendous amount of pounding. Okay. He's going to that's where all that pressure, when he engages with blockers, all of that force is going to compound back down onto his lower lumbars, right? Now, who's he going to be paired up against with the majority of the time? That's right, boys and girls. Future Hall of Famer, the living human wall, Penei Sewell. And then, knowing that you have a fucked up back and rubber woody legs, okay, Johnny Moe, the Lions offensive coordinator, is going to go, you know what? Let's go ahead and scheme Penei Sewell and Tater Ratledge as many double team blocks on Micah Parsons as we can get. And let's just run David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs directly at a broken Micah Parsons. Just run it straight at him until they can stop us. And then once they stop us, you do it again until Micah Parsons is just busted and broken. Because Penei Sewell automatically is an outstanding player. Any player who plays next to Penei Sewell plays at least a grade above where they play anywhere else on the offensive line, okay? Tate Ratledge has shown a tenacity, especially with the double team blocks with Penei Sewell in training camp, not as well as in preseason outside of playing with Penei Sewell. Tate Ratledge has shown a pretty good grasp of the NFL game early on in his career. So you're going to go ahead and have a broken back, rubber woody-legged, epidural-having Micah Parsons spending 1 week in camp, $47 million that you gave up 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark for, going to have him crushed by 700 pounds of Penei Sewell and Tate Ratledge while a very, very angry David Montgomery runs straight at whatever body part you have hanging out from the wall that is crushing you down. That would just be foolish by the Green Bay Packers, but I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. I'd love to see it. You know what I'm saying? I want a collection of big, boozy Judy Latinas. Hamburger Harvey. My guy. I feel you. Pound Parsons. Sewell would do it all for Detroit. Dude, did you guys see where Dan Campbell said that Penei Sewell could be a Hall of Fame tight end for us? They asked him to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Green Bay can start with AOC's Tatas at edge if Parsons can't go through. Well, the way that them fuckers are just getting bigger and bigger, that might be a better chance for them than a broke back, woody, epidural having legs Micah Parsons. Oh, my God. Anyone else from got some buffering going on? Brent, might be, dude. I don't know if I got good signal on my end, dude. It might just be that I'm too popular and far too famous now, and they're trying to suppress us here, fellas. They're trying to squeeze us out. The globalists are trying to keep the hat and beard down, trying to keep us down, trying to stop free speech, trying to stop us from usurping and undermining the NFL scriptwriters because they know that we know that we're onto them. My sources tell me anyway. Don't send them ambulance. Send the hearse. Don't send the ambulance. Send the hearse. Hell yeah. Hamburger Harvey. I agree with you guys. AOC has 2 big buffers. Ha! Nice. And battle the geriatric DNs. One-legged Hutch, Davenport, and Brokeback Micah. Amazing. Broski. Come on now. Hutch is going to be back. The other 2 are broken as shit. The frogs are gay. Hamburger Harvey. Look. All I'm saying is that they're putting chemicals in the water. They're turning the frickin' frogs gay, okay? I'm not going to stand here and 1776 will happen again. Let's go. All right, guys, so there's a couple names. We know that we don't have any developmental quarterbacks. The Lions moved on from Hendon Hooker. Oh, shucks. Jinxies. That's poop. We're all so depressed. Fiddlesticks. Hendon Hooker's no longer a Detroit Lion. So what do? Well, we've got what I say. We're all behind the 8 ball. Kyle Allen is the back quarterback for now. But is there another route that we could go, right? What do you think? Over at A to Z Sports, they got a couple names for us. And look at the guy I've been talking about, Bryce Perkins. Yes, it was the UFL. But Perkins was unstoppable for the Michigan Panthers this season and won the league MVP despite missing a bunch of weeks because of an ankle injury. It was pretty surprising that he didn't get a shot at an NFL training camp until essentially the last week when the Panthers signed him. He got to play the final preseason game there and looked pretty good, throwing 71 yards in a quarter's worth of work. Perkins would be a good guy to add to the Lions practice squad, and hopefully he never has to play. But if he does, he can get some things done out there. I think that Bryce Perkins is a great practice squad quarterback because of his dynamic ability throwing and running the ball. He can scout team you really, really well, and he can give you a lot of different dynamic looks. Now, we do know that the Lions historically have struggled with mobile quarterbacks. So why not bring in a guy who can play that mobile quarterback fairly well in a practice situation, giving us a little bit more exposure to something that we are a little bit weak at. A.J. McCarron, they like this one because you get more than a quarterback out of it. You basically get a second quarterback coach. McCarron was that for the Bengals for a long time, and Zach Taylor gives him credit for the growth he's seen in Joe Burrow. If you have a quarterback who's on the practice squad, you probably want a guy who can do more than carry the clipboard around. And that's where McCarron can help. And that would be a pretty solid transition for him at this point in his career. Soon, A.J. McCarron is going to have to hang those cleats up. And what not a better organization than the Detroit Lions to begin that transitionary period into the coaching ranks, and possibly even the coaching ranks for us. Ryan Tannehill is the third name that pops up for us. Tannehill is still out there looking for an opportunity. There were rumors he'd signed with the Vikings in March, but that never happened. Good. Tannehill and Dan Campbell have a history together. Tannehill was the quarterback for the Dolphins when Campbell was the Dolphins' interim head coach. There's familiarity there. Perhaps a reunion could happen. That is if Tannehill will be willing to be on the practice squad, and that's something that the Lions historically have shown that they are willing to do, and just go and grab a veteran who has played at a relatively high a former first-round pick, to the organization, be it midseason, be it postseason, and Tannehill kind of at this point, doesn't Ryan Tannehill kind of fit that Teddy Bridgewater style, that mold that we've kind of utilized in years past? Now, the past 2 years we've done that because clearly the faith in Hendon Hooker wasn't there, and justifiably so. I mean, Hendon Hooker, he should go to the UFL at this point. But is that something that you need to have at this point? Probably not. Kyle Allen. I think we're kind of set with Kyle Allen being the backup QB. I feel, personally, that when you look at how poorly he played in the Hall of Fame game versus how he piled game after game after game, the 3 preseason games that followed the Hall of Fame game, he progressively played better. He understood what the team needed him to do, and he was a little bit sharper every single game, played a little bit better every single game, and that was with not top-end talent. I mean, yes, Isaac Tesla was probably the best player on the field 90% of the time. You know what I'm saying? But I think Kyle Allen obviously outplayed Hendon Hooker, and I don't think that we need to be looking to upgrade the backup quarterback spot. But if you're looking for a practice squad guy, Ryan Tannehill kind of fits that mold. I see where the head's at, A to Z Sports head's at with that. He kind of fits that Teddy Bridgewater mold. A.J. McCarron would be pretty much a transitionary quarterback into the coaching ranks. And Bryce Perkins, of the guys on the list, I think fits what you want out of a practice squad quarterback, a potential developmental piece / scout team, practice team, give you different dynamic looks. Like Bryce Perkins fits that better than anyone else. On the news of bringing in free agents and all that jazz, how we doing, chat? I'll stick it to it. Being here in Holland, Hero Home. Welcome back, Kirk. Oh, hell yeah. Most Detroit City, yeah. That'd be a lot of money, though, to bring in Kirk Cousins. Wow, Tannehill used to be a wide receiver at Texas A&M. I know, right? Tannehill still thinks he's a starter. Well, Brent, that's the thing. A lot of these quarterbacks, though, they get big old egos, dude, and it's hard. It's hard to change their mind. Now, clearly Ryan Tannehill must be financially set if he's not worried about it. But, if you can get a bag, go get a bag. In the same news article, well, not same news article, but in the same line of thinking that we're talking about potentially bringing in a free agent quarterback, Lions host former Titans cornerback for a visit. It's coming to us from Christian Boer 2 hours ago. The Lions continue their evaluation process for their roster as the regular season begins with a visit on Monday. According to the Transaction Wire, the Lions brought in quarterback Trey Avery for a visit as they began their preparations for Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. Avery is 28 years old. He spent time with 4 NFL teams since entering the league as an undrafted free agent in 22. He made the Tennessee Titans roster that year and appeared in 14 games as a rookie. He totaled 29 tackles, 1 for a loss, and 9 passes defended. That's, nothing to scoff at as an undrafted rookie. The Rutgers product would spend the next 2 seasons with Tennessee. Appeared in a combined 24 games, including 15 in 23. He had 33 tackles in 23, and then just 3 the following year. Over his 3 seasons with the Titans, he played 653 defensive snaps and 440 special team snaps. Oh, that number's really, they really love them special team numbers. Avery was waived by the Titans on December 28th and 24 and was promptly claimed by the 49ers. He would spend the remainder of the season with them through the offseason before being cut on August 4th. After being cut by the 49ers, Avery landed with the New England Patriots. He was released on August 19th and then signed with the Tampa Buccaneers on August 22nd. His stint in Tampa was short, and he was cut 4 days later as part of their final roster cuts. Avery began his college career at Toledo before transferring to Rutgers ahead of his sophomore year. Detroit's cornerback room is currently headlined by the tandem of DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold, which is expected to be the team's starting duo when the season begins on Sunday. Amik Robertson handled the nickel cornerback position for most of the year last year and is expected to do the same to start the year. Behind that trio, the Lions also have versatile veteran depth in Avonte Maddox and Rock Ya-Sin. I'm telling you guys, dude, these very underwhelming free agent signings that Brad Holmes made. Avonte Maddox, Rock Ya-Sin, Roy Lopez are going to be very beneficial to the Detroit Lions come mid-season and into the playoff time. I'm telling you, these guys are going to be sneaky little additions. Both players seem to have seen reps at safety throughout training camp, but the Lions added a pair of safeties after the final cuts in Daniel Thomas and Thomas Harper. Detroit begins the 25 regular season with a trip to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers, and will have its home opener 1 week later against the Chicago Bears and small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, who will win no games as the Chicago Bears head coach because he is Skinny Patricia, Matt Patricia 2.0. Let's go. How we doing, chat? Mr. Detroit Sports Doc, how you doing, brother? Welcome, Lions. Let's go, baby. We're not scared of no Micah Parsons. Penny gonna line up against him. Penny gonna smash. Penny gonna smash Micah, dude. If Micah plays, Penny's gonna just fucking wreck his day. Hell yeah. Welcome to the North, Parsons. Exactly. Welcome to the North, where you have to play outside the majority of the time. Sucks to be you. Enjoy your summers in Dubai, you fucking weirdo. Cash Doll may have just dropped a really big tease for possibilities. Zadarius Smith returned to the Lions after wearing Zadarius' jersey during her concert. No shit, huh? Detroit Sports Talk. If that's the case, now I thought those two split up. I thought they split up, and that was kind of a thing. Now, look, if that... I don't know, guys. What do we do? Is Zadarius Smith going to be a talking point all season long until he's finally brought back or signed with the team? Or are we just going to be clamoring for Zadarius Smith? The first injury that happens along the defensive front, are we all going to be pounding the table for Zadarius Smith? Is Zadarius Smith even still that good? You know what I'm saying? Cash Doll Hendon, all hookers to me. Ha ha! That's hilarious. Lambeau Field, home of the Lamers. Hell yeah, Brent DeWitt. Home of the Green Bay Lamers, dude. Jordan Love and Micah gonna get his shit pushed in Parsons. Sucks to be Micah Parsons. All right, guys. So we got one story left here for us. But I kind of been flying through them. Thought these were going to take me a little bit longer than it did. Discussion. Let's check the poll real quick. How we doing, poll? 14 votes. Good Lord, you guys. Is Parsons a go Sunday versus Detroit? 36% of you say yes. 36% of you say no. And 29% of you say AOC's tatas. That's a. Or these polls, you guys are getting pretty split on these polls. I think I'm putting up some pretty good poll questions, if I do say so myself. Stop talking about Zadarius Smith. My goodness, you love getting jerked by him. He isn't saving your trash DN room. Damn, broski. All right, preseason's over. You come out with the claws, huh? I agree with you, Sam. If Z was coming back, it would have happened already. And I look, I'm going to be honest, broski. Our first of all, DN room isn't trash. Aiden Hutchinson alone makes our DN room an A+. But Zadarius Smith isn't going to do anything to make our defensive end room better. He's not any better than Al-Qadim Muhammad. Okay, I'd really like to see what we got in the guys we picked up at the cut line. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Z's that good. I think everybody likes Zadarius Smith because he's a social media guy. He's an entertaining character. And let's be real. The reality is that we all see Rasheed Wallace in Zadarius Smith. And we're all still nostalgic for the bad boys. You know what I'm saying? Or Bad Boys 2. You know what I'm saying? We're all nostalgic for that. So when you see a guy, and he leans into it, right? When we traded for him at the deadline last year, he wore the Rasheed Wallace jersey. He's got that aesthetic. He kind of looks like him. I'm not saying it all black people look the same. I'm just saying he kind of looks like him. He's got that big old smile and the stubbly beard. You know what I'm saying? He leans into it. Totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, so he's a fun guy. He was dating Cash Doll for a little bit. He's on Instagram. He's out there doing. He's flashy. And at one point in his career, Zadarius Smith was really, really good, but he's no longer that player, and he's no better than El-Kadin Muhammad. And I don't see a point in bringing back Zadarius Smith. You really love Detroit Sports Talk. I love that Tyleek draft pick too. I think Tyleek Williams is going to be a sneaky defensive rookie of the year candidate. He'd be in rotationary piece if he doesn't come back after the Packers game not happening. Teams can offer less guaranteed money after game 1. Gotcha, Brent. Okay. I can never remember. That makes a little bit more sense, Brent, is that they could just be waiting a couple weeks, like you say, until after week 1 when the financial hit isn't too bad. And who knows? If history repeats itself, Marcus Davenport is going to run out there and he's going to fucking, I don't know, shit his pants and then go on IR. You know what I'm saying? Lions starting 0-3. Davenport will be hurt by them too. You have Wheat and El-Kadin, LOL. Wait till Aleem comes back. Nobody is going to be able to run on us. DJ Reader, Aleem, and Tyleek. Hell yeah. Yeah, bro, Scott, I don't think we're going to start 0-3, bro. I know you think that we're going to lose week 2, but I don't see that happening, dude. Jared Goff is going to absolutely dismember the Chicago Bears defense. It's going to be a bloodbath. To quote the president, it's gonna be a bloodbath. All right, over here at Pride of Detroit, discussion: what is Green Bay's biggest weakness? Looking at the Lions' Week 1 opponent, where are the Packers' biggest weakness? This is coming to us from Jeremy Reisman. Look at you, early in the morning, 6:45. Jeremy Reisman, burning the midnight oil. Earlier this week, we looked at the Lions' biggest strengths and weaknesses after establishing a full 53-man roster and 16-man practice squad. Because it's game week, let's take a similar assessment of the Lions' Week 1 opponent, the Green Bay Fudge Packers. The Packers are the Lions' biggest threat to dethrone them from their 2-time NFC North championship status. Last year, the Packers finished 12-5, and with literally the youngest roster in the NFL, there's hope in Green Bay that they can take another big step in 2025. But does their roster match up with the Lions? Is there anything Detroit can exploit? Is there any holes that we can finger? Today's question of the day is, what is the Packers' biggest weakness? And it's their hole that we're going to finger. The first thing that sticks out is their cornerback room. Their projected starters outside of Cassine Nixon and Nate Hobbs. Nixon has been an on and off starter for the Packers for the last 3 years, but is better known for his electric play as a kick returner. It hasn't been as rosy on defense, where he's posted a PFF coverage grade under 61 and passer rating allowed over 98 in each of the past 3 seasons. Oof, that's brutal. Hobbs is a new addition this offseason. After 4 years with the Raiders, he's been okay as a cover corner, and he's above average in the run game. However, his availability for week 1 is already in question. Hobbs had a knee procedure this offseason and has missed almost the entirety of training camp. As of Monday, he still wasn't practicing with the team. Although there is hope he's making progress, Wednesday's initial report will be telling about his status this week. Oof, Green Bay, ouch. Damn, son, you guys are limping into this game already. If Hobbs can't go, they will likely have to rely on Carrington Valentine, who has struggled to hold a starting job since being drafted in 2023. Elsewhere, it's hard to ignore the massive hole in the defensive interior following the Micah Parsons trade that sent Pro Bowl nose tackle Kenny Clark to Dallas. That's right, we got to fucking finger that hole. Green Bay wasn't bad run defense last year. They let the Packers also let TJ Slayton walk in free agency. So there is a pretty massive void out there that players will have to step up. 2023 4th-round pick Colby Wooden is a primary candidate. Wooden is listed at just 273 pounds, although last year he reportedly jumped to over 290. Regardless, either weight is considered undersized for the nose tackle position, and he's played just 490 snaps in 2 seasons. Another candidate is 6th-round rookie Warren Brinson. While likely not ready for the role in week 1, he has more of a build than a traditional nose tackle at 6'5", 315. However, he really struggled against the run defense in preseason. That sucks. All right, so it's looking like the run game, guys. Looks like we called it earlier. Just going to feed that rock. Ground and pound. Sonic und Knuckles. And then deep shots to JMO. Deep shots to Tesla. Mid shots to St. Brown. And let's not forget Sam Laporta. He's still in town. Let's go, guys. How you doing? Oh, what happens? John Morton idolized Salt calling plays. That's hilarious, dude. Our secondary is going to be the best in the league. Argue with the wall if you disagree. Yeah, dude, Detroit Sports Talk with the two safeties we have, with DJ Reed coming into town, and then what should be a massive step forward in his second year by Terry Arnold if history repeats itself in the way he was able to progress weeks 1 to the bye week to the postseason. Terry Arnold should be able to take a huge step forward as long as that hamstring injury he got early on in training camp doesn't become an issue. You know what I'm saying, Broski Bear? We don't take... don't make me bring up the elephant in the room and mention your starting QB. Oh, that's funny, Hamburger. That was funny. I couldn't believe CBS Sports anchor had the Bears, Green Bay, then the Lions. I said, "What, dude? What are they smoking, dude? They had the Bears winning the North. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Oh my God, I'm going to Lions KC game. No shit." Detroit Sports Talk. That's going to be wild, bro. You got to bring that energy, brother. You got to bring that energy. No, the Chiefs has need is a QB and receivers. They can actually catch the ball. Ain't that the shit, dude? Well, they're supposed to have that super fast, super all-world, everything first-round pick, Matthew Golden, right? Deep shot like Caleb Williams takes deep, long strokes that he likes to take, dude. AOC takes deep shots. Who can take it deeper, Mr. Detroit City, AOC or Caleb Williams? I'm probably going to go with Caleb Williams. I really feel bad for the Enos injury. Suck. Detroit Sports Talk, bro, it sucks that Enos Rakestraw for 2 years in a row just pours copious amounts of sand in his vagina. And I know it's not his fault, but he's got to stop doing that so that he can be healthy and prove everybody wrong. If Enos isn't a go next year, it's time to move on from the Enos the Penis Rakestraw Break Straw project. You know what I'm saying? Do as a poll. Lions fans are road warriors. Ain't that the truth, dude? Ain't that the truth, Sam, dude? We turn out, bro. Lions fans travel, and it's awesome. That's because I think, honestly, dude, the Detroit Lions are really America's team when you really get down to brass tacks. People like the Detroit Lions. So how'd the poll finish up today? We got 15 votes. Is Parsons a go Sunday versus Detroit? 33% of you say yes, 40% of you say no, and 27% of you say AOC's Tatas. I would probably vote for AOC's Tatas because Mike Parsons and the Packers can all go fuck themselves. Not too wild about that, but I do like what we read. Obviously, with Kenny Clark being gone, that does open up a huge hole in the middle of their defense, especially if Micah Parsons isn't a go. That's another spot to exploit. If Micah Parsons tries to roll out there with epidural, giving him Woody legs, Woody from Toy Story, you just turn Ratledge and Sewell directly at him, 95% of your play calls, and you just run him over. You point David Montgomery at him, and you say, go. You say after you've pounded him for a good couple 2-3 plays and he's winded and his back hurts, you hand it to Jahmyr Gibbs on the outside and you say, outrun everybody. And then once they think, then they're going to start loading the box. And then once they start loading the box, then you're just going to look at JMO and you're going to say, run. Just run. Run down the field as fast as you can. I will get it to you. And you just dismember them. One simple play call after the other. You ground, you pound, and you break the will of the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau week 1. You know what I'm saying? You come out and you stake your claim. You piss all over Lambeau Field. Kirby Joseph continues to own Green Bay. Kirby Joseph comes out and has 2 or 3 interceptions week 1 against Jordan Love, right? Brian Branch. Does Brian Branch get ejected? You know what I'm saying? Does Aiden Hutchinson, how many sacks does Hutch get? I think this is going to be a really telling game of the overhype around the Green Bay Packers and the disrespect from the national media about the Detroit Lions players, the disrespect that still follows Dan Campbell, the lack of respect of talent that Brad Holmes identifies in drafts. We were scrutinized for our draft picks, okay? Tyleek Williams is a reach. Tater Ratledge was a reach. Isaac Tesla, who? You know what I'm saying? All these guys are going to be very important players that are going to make very important plays time and time and time again this year in Detroit. It'll always be, no matter how good we are, back-to-back division champs, NFC fucking seed, for number one seed with 275 players on IR last year, winning 15 games with all those guys injured. You know what I'm saying? Losing both. It will always be Detroit versus everybody. And week one, we need to come out and just stick it in the eye of the national media, stick it in the eye of the Green Bay Packers. We're no longer little brother, and they need to quit treating us like such. It is time. This week one will be very telling of how we're going to handle business this year. And the NFL needs to be put on notice. Our defense is going to be nasty. Our defense is going to be tenacious. Our defense is going to be out there looking to rip motherfuckers' heads off, okay? That's what's going to be going down. Lastly, you guys, the captains were announced, okay? Real quickly, you guys know all the names. Jared Goff, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown on offense, Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Anzalone on defense, and this should be no surprise to you at all. Grant Stewart is our special teams captain. I really like Grant Stewart and what he brings to the Lions organization. It should be no surprise to anybody at all. He has been called upon to fill that germ spot, the Jeremy Reeves-Maben spot, and he's done it exponentially. He's done it a lot better than he's played better than Reeves-Maben. He's more important to the team than Reeves-Maben is from a talent standpoint, from what he brings to the special teams table, from what he can do for us on defense, from what I'm sure he'd be willing to do for us on offense if they asked him to play fullback. Okay, so Grant Stewart getting that captain is well deserved. All right, but nobody else should be a surprise to any of us at all. So those are our guys. I think they're all well-deserved of them. So today we talked about the Ravens using last season's playoff loss as motivation to win their opening game Sunday night against Buffalo. We then talked about Micah Parsons and how people think he's going to be able to play with an epidural. You're fucking nuts. You're fucking nuts. Talked about some guys that the Lions could look to bring in at a quarterback spot. 3 names that popped off. 1 name is actually a possibility for a practice squad guy. The other 2, one makes sense if you view him from the lens of a Teddy Bridgewater. The other makes sense if you're like, yeah, he's going to be another quarterback's coach for us next year. The Detroit Lions had a corner come in and visit. That would be our guy Trey Avery, journeyman corner. Brought him in for a visit on Monday because, again, our defensive back room, although talented, might be a little light. All right, and we know that if history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does rhyme, there could be injuries coming, at least last year. And Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes definitely now, more than some teams, seem to greatly understand how important depth is. We talked about what the Packers' biggest weakness was. We actually already identified it just discussing Micah Parsons. The chat down below, you guys just nailed it, and that is the run game. With Kenny Clark out of town and possibly a broken or not even playing Micah Parsons, you ground, you pound, and you absolutely punch the Green Bay Packers directly in the mouth. And then finally, we just wrapped up the 6 captains for the Detroit Lions. The big C's, Jared Goff, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, Alex Pepperoni Anzalone, and our guy Grant Stewart gonna be the final special teams captain. One last look at the chat before we sign off. Hat and Beard, oh wow, I've missed a lot. They'll probably sit somebody healthy for Parsons. You wouldn't be surprised, and that'd end up crippling him later on, Sam. Jameer and Demo going to have a field day. Lockett 150 combined for the 2. Oh, I'll go a step farther, Detroit Sports Talk. I'm talking 150 for each. 150 and 2 tuggers for both running backs. Oh, that's right. We're going to put up almost 400 yards of rushing offense on the Packers Sunday afternoon. Let's go. I'm seeing a lot of people picking Benedict Johnson and the Bears to win the division. Well, Detroit Sports Talk, that's because they're dumb. They're stupid, and they like to throw their money away on foolish bets. The one thing you got to understand about sports betting, you got to be smart with your dollary dues. Chicago, not going to happen. Not going to happen. The media is against us because of the loss of coordinators. Sam, you're right, and they really put a lot of emphasis on how important. I think we'll see that of the 2, the more successful coordinator / turned into head coach will be Aaron Glenn. I think what you'll find with the Lions offense is Dan Campbell was the mastermind behind the offense. It wasn't Ben Johnson per se. Ben Johnson is trying too hard. I'm a big man, I'm a big man on campus. I'm a big Ben Johnson man. Next year, you're going to see him on a four-wheeler with his leg up on a fucking cast as he just starts sticking a pencil in his hat and becomes fucking Matt Patricia all over again. All right. Oh, Grant Stewart is going to be a fucking dog. I don't care what anyone says. He's a dog. Detroit, I agree with you. I enjoy you go through articles none of these other shows. Oh, dude, thanks, Hamburger. I don't have anyone to really banter with, and I just kind of scroll these articles, bro. Just kind of I pick and choose what I want to talk about, and I just kind of chill and hang out with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Talk about Detroit's defense when they actually top 10, which hasn't happened in recent memory, but they will be, broski. They will be. They will be a top 3 defense this year. Did you see what the team voted him as captain? Hell yeah, they did. Chat list one player that is underrated besides Stewart that will help the defense out this year. Ooh, one player that's underrated besides Stewart. Ooh. Rock Ya-Sin or Avonte Maddox. Because I would say Amik Robertson, but he's already kind of a higher name. I think Rock Ya-Sin and Avonte Maddox are going to be sneaky contributors, quietly adding solid reps to our defense, giving us more flexibility in the secondary. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Janitorial, thank you, Christopher. I appreciate it. Keep it up, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, brother. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, dude, you guys hit all the bells, ring all the buttons. You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe, share it around. Turn that notification bell on. We are live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here at youtube.com, dude. Just kind of doing our thing. I appreciate you tuning in, dude. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you, man. I'm seeing a lot of people picking Benedict Johnson to win the... Yeah, they're gross, dude. It's on next week. We're just getting started. Who is Stewart? Oh, broski, don't worry. Don't worry, bro. Grant Stewart will introduce himself to the Chicago Bears week 2. Don't worry, brother. Don't worry, brother. You'll get a fine introduction to Grant Stewart. You guys, don't worry. Don't worry. I don't want to spoil it, broski. I don't want to spoil the surprise, dude. I don't want to spoil the surprise. If you don't know who Grant Stewart is, I just would rather let him introduce himself to the Chicago Bears week 2 on his own. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spoil it. So, fellas, there you go. We made it to the hour mark. Another show in the bag. Let's go, guys. There is not a lot left to talk about. Tomorrow will be another exciting show. We'll poke and prod around the NFL. We'll see any news breaking about the Detroit Lions as we gear up for week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. It's finally here, guys. NFL week 1 is finally here. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. Reunited, and it feels so good. Hell yeah, let's go. Fellas, I appreciate all of you tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. Stay out of trouble. Try and have yourselves a good rest of the day. It's Tuesday. Hopefully you had yesterday off, so a short and condensed week. I got to get ready and get going to work. It's nice out today. Hopefully you guys are having a good start to your week. So we will catch you tomorrow right here at 10 a.m. at youtube.com/The Hat and Beard Show. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Until then, banga banga. Frig off.